Sam's Club will get your family ready to go back to school and get back to routine. You can't miss out on these incredible savings. Organic bananas, 3 pounds for $1.98. Get an Honest Kids Organic Juice Variety Pack 40 count for $10.98. That's just 28 cents a piece. Shop and save in-club or online. Sam's Club gets your family back to school with healthy snacks. Join and save. Sam's Club. Life is better in the club. See club for details.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, folks. It's Chris Daly, and with my partner, Janice Maxwell, we like bringing you great stories and conversation with great Jamaicans doing great things. And do we have a treat for you this afternoon? We have an award-winning author. He's Kwame McPherson. He's a prolific writer. He's an entrepreneur, a poet, a mentor, an orator. He writes, he tells stories in using his expertise to demonstrate his skill as a modern-day griot or storyteller from the Ghanaian context. His prose reflects his travels, his experiences, and he contributes to various international magazines. Won't tell you much more. We'll tell you all you'll find out more in the interview, so we'll look forward to an engaging and entertainment dialogue. Janice, take it away.
Oh, thanks, Chris. Kwame, it's a real pleasure to be talking to you today. So tell us about your Jamaican roots.
Oh, wow, my Jamaican roots. Well, I was born in the UK, London, UK, but I migrated to Jamaica when I was very young. My father and my mother had divorced, and my father took myself and my brother to Jamaica. So so all of my formative years of growing up in Jamaica, and I grew up in Kingston. Went to school, worked in Kingston. So I spent most of the majority of my formative life in Jamaica. Then I came away in '85 and basically ended up traveling and writing, really.
I see.
So that's my Jamaican roots is via both my mother and my father are Jamaican. My mother came from St. Catherine and my father came from Portland, Tonia.
I see. Yeah, I hear it. I hear the Jamaican accent, but I also hear the British. So you got a little, you got a little twist of both, And then you ended up migrating. Yeah. So you're a man of.
People call me.
People
call me. People call me. What's the word? International, which means I'm virtually because I've lived in Canada too. I've lived in, like I said, lived in the UK and I lived in Jamaica. So I have a cross section of languages, so to speak, in terms of tonality.
Yeah, and I love accents in terms of where I can listen to a person. I live in Chicago, and so someone on say South Side, they sound very different from someone who sound on the West Side. And then they're like, how you know that I'm not? I said, I know. I love that, though. That's one of my things. You're a man of words. What was the spark that got you so passionate about the power of literature and literacy?
Yes. Well, the thing is, we're growing up in Jamaica, one of the things that we were encouraged to do was to be very creative. We used to write a lot of essays, a lot of poetry, a lot of stories. So even back in the day, we had the major newspaper, the Ghana Company, had a newspaper for children called Children's Zone. So a newspaper that was mainly for children. So from a very early age, we were also encouraged to write. And it just so happens that growing up, obviously as I got older, I kept reading a lot of books, reading a lot of black authors, a lot of Caribbean authors, and I did it as a hobby. And I only took it serious when I only took it serious when I was in Canada, actually. Even though I was in the UK and stuff like that, is when I had moved to Canada for a while, and that's where the journey became more serious in terms of writing, because I was going through a particular time in my life at that time.
Well, what I really like about your, especially this particular book that we're featuring today, what I liked about it is that you could just hear all the aspects of Jamaica. You know what I mean? Like, for example, your Muma Nani, that's our national hero. So tell us or tell the what inspired you to write about that? Because I like that story.
You know, it's well. See, the thing is, that, well, as you know, it's throughout. I think there's a lot of stories that we have that we haven't fictionalized. Well, we could be factual as well as fictionalized, right? Which means it's about a particular person, but then you can actually imagine what they would have been like at that time. And for myself, Mama Nani, or Nani as she's known, is the only female national hero that we have.
Yeah.
And it occurred to me that we haven't heard a lot about her fictionalized. Even though she's a factual person, she lived and breathed and everything else in the hills of Jamaica, but there's not enough stories about her that we could create or imagine, you know. And for myself, I decided that I wanted to write about her and her impact. I remember, you know, she was an African woman who had led a guerrilla army against one of the most powerful empires at the time. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that in itself is phenomenal.
It is, yeah. And then what I liked about how this book is laid out is that each chapter is like a short story on its own. So like the next story was
it is.
Kononoim Tia until he gone.
Kononoim Tia until he gone.
Tia until he gone, you know? And then, so basically that's a Jamaican proverb. I don't know if other
it is.
Caribbean people do that. I don't know if it's an African proverb or a Jamaican proverb, but it's certainly relatable in our community, you know?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Who are the characters that the proverb pertain to?
Well, there's a couple of characters. Yeah, it's a couple of characters. There's Patrick and Denisha. And Patrick is basically because as you know, in Jamaica, we tend to have a lot of people come over from abroad. So, and a lot of them want to experience Jamaica, i.e., go to dance hall and, you know what I mean, experience the real Jamaica. So the idea just came to me to write about a character who was in the British Army, serving in the British Army, on vacation in Jamaica, where he stays with his cousin Julie, who's another character. And they so happen to go a dance, and he meets this Julie's friend who's called Denisha. Now, she's very popular in terms of, you know what I mean, influence on the socialite scene, but a ghettoized socialite scene. But she's also the girlfriend of a well-known local Don, or a feared, you know, criminal, so to speak, a gunman. And it so happens that he gets to meet her at this dance, and they hit it off, and the story then evolves whereby, you know, the title, Conan or the New Time Tale Until It's Gone, is basically what happens when something is gone. You don't know the value of it until it's gone. And the whole idea is that in the ending part is that Trevor didn't realize the value of Denisha because she's not gone with Patrick. So that's basically
right. And in your story, the untold story, what a precocious child Dwayne was. Can you elaborate on that character?
Yeah, well, you see, and as you know, a wonderful dynamic to Jamaica and Jamaicanness is church. You know, we're a very religious people, and it occurred to me that I wanted to write something through a child's eyes in terms of his particular experience of church, really, and the fallacies of church. You know, and there's a lot of things that we can argue about, but that's for another day and another debate. And it so happens that he's very inquiring, young mind, bright, you know, thirsty for knowledge, you know, as Jamaican children are. Because you can talk to the youngest of Jamaican child, and they will tell you what their ambitions are. Even at 3, 4, you know, they're very bright, very articulate, very aware of themselves. So I wanted to portray this Dwayne as being that type of child. And then he begins to work out in his own mind the relationship between him, his mother, and the pastor of a church. And really realizing at the end that the pastor of the church has much more of involved. He's more involved than just being a pastor of a church in terms of his of who he is.
Absolutely. And in your yeah, I know. Well, we're going to let the audience learn about Dwayne and his relationship with that pastor. Okay. In your story, what a feeling I'm feeling when Lord learns that many of the Bible stories were originally African stories. Was that the feeling you were writing in the title?
Yeah, it's you know, because obviously comes from the song, right? Oh, what a feeling I'm feeling from Bob, right? And basically It was a show based on my journey, in a sense.
That was a Bob reference. I didn't even realize that was a Bob reference. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's basically just about learning and Lloyd learning about when he's been on his journey, what he's been able to learn. And I wanted to portray myself in that kind of setting, whereby I'm abroad, but there's things about abroad that I'm comfortable with, and I started to learn about myself as an African Jamaican, so to speak, you know, and how that has impacted on myself and Jamaica to a great extent through the stories that have been told, and of which the Bible is a part of our story rather than the other way around, you know. So that's the whole reason, and that like I said, that's more like a lot of these stories tend to have an underlying relationship with myself, but they're also my observations of other things that take place.
Yeah, well, art imitates life, or vice versa. You know, your story, Miss Daphne.
Exactly.
You wrote about the life of a Higla woman. Is it becoming a thing of the past, or Higla live and well in Jamaica? You tell the audience.
Well, you know, the funny thing is that when
tell the audience what a Higla woman is, because they may not know that.
I was about to say. Now, Higla is someone who sells. Now they sell down the market, they sell on the streets, and basically because they have to have a livelihood. They have to you know, find a way of making an income. So they sell anything from sweets to clothes to hair products to you name it. That's what they sell. Majority of these people are uneducated. They're illiterate for the most part, because they didn't have the opportunity to go to school, to high school or whatever. So they ended up selling goods. They buy and sell basically. In my mind, I flipped it, and I thought that they're so pivotal to the lifeblood of Jamaica to a great extent. If they're a market woman or they're selling dry goods or whatever, because I think they're entrepreneurs in their own right. They're entrepreneurs, and I think because a lot of people turn to this through poverty in order to send their children to school, in order to clothe and to feed their children or child. And so for me, I have a lot of utmost respect for them, because this story, in a sense, was my way of showing that. Because in the end, Miss Daphne, as you know, things happened to Miss Daphne, and it was my way of showing that these people are so important to us that we have to recognize that they have an important part to play in the lifeblood of Jamaica.
Quite true. Yeah.
You know?
So in the story, the fire there must
feel.
Think him a cool breeze.
Fire there must think think a cool breeze. Yeah.
That's another proverb, or is that your? Because I never hear that one day enough. So I'm gonna know if it's a proverb.
Oh, you never hear that? No, it's a proverb.
It's a proverb. Okay.
No, it's a proverb.
It's gonna be you.
Yeah, it's a proverb.
What does that mean to our audience?
It means basically, it's, for example, you think that there's an opportunity, right? So you think it's a good opportunity, but then when you take it out later on the line, it's not. So you see the opportunity has arisen. So you say, yeah, man, and you get on fired, but then you take one and say, hold on there. But to feel that cool breeze, because now you later realize that the same opportunity that you thought was so that got you empowered and got you enthusiastic and everything else, it isn't, and it basically tapers out to be nothing really, and that's basically what it means in that regard, in an intellectual way of explaining it. But the question that was risen about country living, still has been touched, but there are many reasons as to why country is the way it is. And I think that's the beauty of a lot of developing countries to a great extent, and Jamaica being a developing country, because with the movement of people from country to town and abroad for better opportunities, country will always be country. I love country. I grew up in town, but I love country. And because it brings...
Christmas? When you get to country, Christmas or what? Or in the summer?
I go anytime. Anytime in Jamaica, I'm there. And I tend to be in country more than I'm in town. I love town, which is Kingston. But I love country because country has a resonance. There's an essence about country, about the beauty, about the stillness, there's a vibe, There's a vibe. And that's what draws me to country, that there's a particular vibe that I love, and I think that country will never lose that. You know, because people will be moving all the time. So country will always the country, you know. So, but what we have now, feel like in Jamaica now, where you have the new highway and everything else going right across the island, you'll find that there'll be urbanized areas within country, which is okay. But I just love deep country because that's when you get the essence of what Jamaica really is.
Right. Yeah. And it's just an easier living. I mean, people don't realize that.
Yes, it is.
Because I have relatives that grew up in country and relatives that and I see that the children, my experience, I'm just talking for me, the children are much more mannerisable, and they just don't have that.
Yes.
That it's just an easier living. I think if you're a child, you should live in the country because it's just you're able to hold on to your childhood a little bit longer. I think. You know,
I agree.
You have to become an adult.
I do agree with you. I do agree with you.
And even in this country, I see that.
Yeah, well, like I said, because for me, because one of my best writing comes out when I'm in Jamaica, and I realize that based on the fact that when I go to country, that for me there's a particular vibration. There's something that draws out that essence of my writing, and which then gives it richness. You know, so that's what country does for me, and I love country. I really do love country, and when I'm heading back, I intend to be in Portland because Portland is where I love Portland, and Portland is one of the most beautiful parishes in Jamaica.
It is. Yeah. So finish this sentence for us. In 5 years, because of your wizardry with words, Jamaica will be
the crown jewel of the Caribbean, since she cannot be anything else.
I love it. We love it. Yes, I will agree with you on that. We are a unique bunch of people. You know, Jamaicans don't imitate people, but a lot of people tend to do some things. Well, I don't know whether it's real or imagined. I want to have the Jamaican experience. So it really, you know, I mean, are you following stereotypes or are you imagining these things? But I do see a strong presence for the English speaking, and maybe in the other country or the other, you know, of course there's the Spanish, French, and Dutch Caribbean too. But for the English speaking Caribbean, I think there's definitely a dominance. So do you have any closing nuggets you would like to share with our audience?
Yeah, there's a couple of things because I tend to help other people, right? And there's a lot of stories that are coming out, and which is the beautiful thing about the diaspora is that there's so many, it's so rich. And there's other writers that I'm helping to write at the moment in terms of her experience of growing up in Jamaica and what that was like for her at the time that she was growing up and where she is today. But one of the things I would say is that I was leaving nugget in terms of supporting our Caribbean writers. You know, I encourage people, implore people to support our writers and the writing from across the diaspora. Buy my material, buy their material, enjoy them, and hopefully they will get educated and be enlightened by them. But yeah, that's basically what I would leave with, and anyone can get in contact with me if I can leave my details. By googling Kwame McPherson and for Facebook, Twitter, I'm all across all social media and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what I would leave. Just buy my writing and buy other writings because Caribbean writers. There's a renaissance that's taking place, I believe, in terms of Caribbean writing because, as you know, there's Calabash, which takes place in the next couple of weeks, and Calabash is
Are you going to be one of those? Are you going to be one of the writers?
No,
are you
not
attending?
this time. I'll be the next year, the following year. Not this time, but I will definitely be there as a featured writer, and that's taking place in the next couple of weeks, and that's phenomenal. It's international writing, writing festival in Jamaica.
Why don't we let the audience learn about Calabash because they probably don't know what. Some people we know, but maybe some people who are listening to this podcast may not know. What is the Calabash Festival?
Right, Calabash is basically it's a festival, a book writing, book author festival that started up by Kwame and Colin China. And Colin China is a personal friend of mine, and he's a New York bestseller for a book called Waiting to New York bestseller. That's it. That's the book. Yes. So and him and Kwame started up Calabash I think about 12 years ago, and it happens biannually. And basically, it's just an international festival where writers from all over the world, from majority of them come from Jamaica, are able to have a platform to feature their writing. So Marlon James should be there, I think, this year, actually.
That
he's
should
the one
be
who won the book of prize.
Yeah, but and the word calabash, it means.
Calabash means it's a dish, right? So I think it's a.
Right.
I think what the whole idea is a calabash is a dish where you eat out of, right? It's a coconut polished dish that you eat out of. And I think that the whole concept is that calabash is like a mix-up, so people can now come and enjoy the food of writing and Caribbean writing.
Right, so it's like a platter, and then we serve these writers in different genres to know, I didn't know this, and then you learn about that. And we are so happy to have spent some time with you. So everyone, please
you for the opportunity.
Kwame. You may to learn more about Jamaican diaspora. Visit JamaicanDiaspora.com. To learn more about Chris Daly, visit DigitalToGrowMedia.com. And to learn more about Kwame McPherson, visit KwameMcPherson.com. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Bye now.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Look out in the street there. You know what you don't see? My car, because I had to sell it to pay the lawyer I hired when I got busted for drunk driving. You know what else you don't see? My girlfriend, who decided that a guy with no car and no license and no money was no fun. And hey, you know what else you don't see? You don't see me leaving for work in the morning, because I missed so much time with court and everything that I got fired.
Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.